Hi everybody, I apologize for not posting a video sooner, but other than having a few other health and other problems, I picked up a stomach virus which had me down and out for a few days. But let's not dwell on my problems and move on to what we are here for. Not having made a video for a while, I have a lot to talk about. Well, the first thing we need to address is, of course, Meghan's dissatisfaction with not being able to use the word royal. Now, as other YouTubers have made it clear, and also seen in newspaper reports, the Queen did not stop them from using the word royal because I think it was her choice. As a matter of fact, I think up to date the Queen had been trying to protect Meghan and Harry and let them get away with as much as she possibly could. However, there are laws in place, and I am not going to go into the royal warrant and all those things because I think I have discussed it before, as had other YouTubers. I'm just going to give you a very quick rundown of what it's really all about. Now, here in South Africa, every small town, or nearly every small town, has a royal hotel, which is normally the town's favorite drinking hole. So yes, I cannot see the Queen having any rights on the actual word royal, and Meghan is right there. However, where Meghan is very wrong is the fact that, and I'm going to explain it like this: if you or I had been working for Prime Biscuits, now Prime is a word in the dictionary, as is biscuits, but say you and I had been working for Prime Biscuits for a period of 2 years, and we get fed up with the manager or the director or the CEO, and we decide to take our stuff and leave. We resign, and then we go on to start baking our own biscuits, and we package it in a packet which has a name on it, and the name on the packet is Prime Biscuits, and we start advertising and selling our product under Prime Biscuits, just having resigned from a larger company called Prime Biscuits. I guarantee you, and I bet you, that within a month or two you or I will receive a lawyer's letter telling us we must cease operating under the name of Prime Biscuits, and if we don't, we will be sued. Now, I know the royal situation is slightly different, as I said, with royal warrants, etc., etc., and the royal warrants normally works in a specific way where it is given to a person and not a company. So if Joe Black is the director of Prime Biscuits, or the CEO or the owner of Prime Biscuits, and Joe Black sells his company or he passes away, the royal warrant will not automatically go back to Prime Biscuits. The royal warrant is also normally given to companies whose products are actually being used in the palace. It's like an award. It's something they've worked for many years and then passed on or given to them as an award. So I think I've made it very clear. Just like you and I cannot trade as Prime Biscuits if we have worked for Prime Biscuits for a number of years, Meghan and Harry cannot trade under Sussex Royal, having worked for the monarchy or supposedly Sussex Royal for a year or two. Like I said, obviously slightly more complicated but that is the gist of it. Now, in their statement on their website, they also tried to throw some shade on Beatrice or Eugenie, or Beatrice and Eugenie, by saying that they are being treated differently from other royals who are allowed to work outside of the royal family. And we all thought that they were referring to Beatrice and Eugenie. Now, that is where they made another mistake, because Beatrice and Eugenie are 9th and 10th in line to the throne. Beatrice and Eugenie do not receive funding from the crown or from the monarchy. As far as I know, Eugenie, since she got married to Jack Brooksbank, has also been paying rent for her cottage at Kensington Palace. Neither Beatrice nor Eugenie has been receiving any state-funded or monarchy-funded security since they moved down to 9th and 10th place. As a matter of fact, their father, Prince Andrew, has been paying for their security for quite a while, a couple of years, I would say. So the fact that Meghan is trying to compare herself and Harry to Beatrice and Eugenie is one huge mistake, and it shows just how one-sided her thinking is, how narcissistic, how much of a grabber she is. She wants everything. She thinks that everything is owed to her. She's got this sort of, it's not really a victim mentality. It is just as if she thinks the world owes her everything. She is so wonderful that everything should just come her way. But in any event, that is me just ranting. And as I said, the mistake they made in their statement is to actually try and compare themselves to Beatrice and Eugenie. They are definitely not in the same place. They have been receiving a stipend from the monarchy. 5% of the income came from the monarchy, and obviously then indirectly from the taxpayer, which Beatrice and Eugenie are not receiving. Now, if you get paid to do something, you're expected to do the job, which Meghan and Harry is not prepared to do, and therefore they shouldn't be paid for it. It's as simple as that. And therefore, while being the Duke and Duchess of Sussex and Prince Henry and whatever Meghan thinks she is, and receiving money from the monarchy, they have put themselves in a different class and a different level of royalty as Beatrice and Eugenie, and there's no comparison whatsoever, legally or otherwise. Now let's quickly talk about Meghan and Harry's security once again. I have spoken about it at length in my previous one of my previous videos, and I'm not going to go through the costs and the reasons why the cost is almost double now that they're living in Canada. I'm not going to do it again, but in the past week, or since I've made a last video, Canada has now come out and said that they will no longer pay for Meghan and Harry's security as from end of March. Now, I'm going to explain this the same way as I've explained the use of Sussex Royal as a brand now that they've left the royal family. Personally, I've been in a position where I worked for a property management company, and it happened from time to time that we had a tenant who could not pay or did not pay their rent, and on such occasions I was sent out to visit the tenants at home. What happened from time to time was when I get there, the tenant would actually fork out a couple of £100 or a couple of thousand to prevent eviction, and in such cases, or when I was sent out to confront these truant tenants, I was provided with security, at least one guard to actually join me or to go there with me in case of tenant losing their marbles or getting angry or violent, or even in the case of a tenant perhaps paying up, because as a female, or I could have been a man, it doesn't matter, but it would have been very well, it would be a huge risk for me to actually leave there with money in my pocket, yeah, and other safety concerns. So I was provided with security. However, when I resigned from the property management company, my security stopped. And yes, there were still people who were mad at me, people who would yell out at me when they saw me in the street because I happened to come and collect late or unpaid rental from them. And I got a couple of beautiful comments, you know, standing in line at a store or whatever. One of these ex-tenants would come along, recognize me, and they would just dish it out. However, I had to take it or provide my own security, because I no longer worked for this property management company. It was no longer their concern. It was my choice to resign. Obviously, I had other avenues I could pursue in cases like this, like calling the police, which I once did when one of my ex-tenants threatened me with a firearm. So, but yes, that is what you do, and that is what Harry and Meghan can do. They can actually lift up a phone or dial the cops and say, listen, there's someone threatening me. However, I also recognize that their situation is very different and that they do need security. But however, there are also ways of minimizing their risk, and I have discussed that in a previous video, and I'm just going to reiterate what I've said before. One of the ways they can reduce their risk is by surrendering all their titles. If he is no longer Prince Harry, and he is no longer the Duke of Sussex, and he no longer has any military connections, and he no longer receives huge amounts of money from Daddy Charlie or the monarchy, which he will not be receiving, but from Daddy Charlie, then you know what, his risk will be reduced significantly. Meghan, as an actress, previously, before she met Harry or before she started dating Harry, did she have security as an actress on Suits? I don't think so. And if she needed it, what did she do? Did she get someone? Did she lift up a phone and dial a mate and say, listen, please join me for tea because I'm expecting paparazzi? Yes, she did. So why can't she do it now? Well, the reason why they can't do it now is because they're still the Duke and Duchess of Sussex, and because they're still in the news on a daily basis, 9 out of 10 times, because of Meghan's spiteful comments, which she leaks through her friends, in inverted commas. If only she would shut the hell up and they surrender their titles and surrender the income from Prince Charles, their security risk would be reduced probably with 80%. And for 20% security risk, they can pay their own security. And that, for now, is all I have to say about this. Now, let's quickly talk about Travelist and Harry and Travelist. Now, like many other YouTubers, I am still a bit confused as to what Travelist is all about, and I just quickly want to apologize for my squeaking chair. It is what it is. Now, we still don't know really what Travelist is all about. Yet I've looked at their website, I've looked at various articles, and to date I can only come to one conclusion, and I'm basing this conclusion on one particular article. It says the Duke of Sussex will appear in Edinburgh tomorrow to host a summit for Travelist, set to unveil a new holiday scheme with a scoring system for eco-friendly travel. Now, when it comes to that, it gives me the idea, and like I said, I have been in the property business before, so I do have some idea. But it gives me the idea that Travelist is, I don't want to call it a pyramid scheme, but it does seem as if it is loosely based on some kind of pyramid scheme where either the companies involved, the travel agents involved, or the actual tourists themselves will receive points for being eco-friendly while traveling, and those scores can then possibly be exchanged for money or reduction on the next travel, something like that. Yeah, so I don't know, it sort of gives me the idea that it is some kind of money-making racket, to be blunt. Maybe also some kind of money laundering scheme, and I'm saying this very carefully, but I do feel that until they actually have a document they can put out into to the public, which actually lists their goals one by one and very clearly, that I do see this as a money-making scheme, possibly based loosely on a type of pyramid scheme, or even a money laundering scheme, and there I am saying it. So I would suggest that Harry gets all his ducks in a row and actually draw up a proper plan so everybody can see what Travelist is all about and how it's going to work and how this scoring system is going to work and what benefit this scoring system will have for the public. So Harry, my dear boy, go back to the drawing board and get that drawn up very quickly before somebody with more knowledge than me starts looking into this, because I can see you getting into trouble with Travelist. I've also seen over the past 2 weeks that there were a number of articles about Harry having a very hard time and being very emotional during his final round of engagements in the United Kingdom. Now, you know, at a certain age in your, particularly I think when you're over 30, you're supposed to leave home. Yeah, if you leave home as in leave your country, leave your family, and you're not going to see them maybe for months on end, it can be very emotional. I personally have a daughter who, with her husband and my grandchild, live in a different country. And I do remember greeting them shortly before they left, and it was very emotional. And when my daughter had her baby in Canada, it was also very emotional, because I was actually there when my grandson was born. I stood outside the delivery room biting my nails, and I was there when the doctor came out and said that everything is well, and I remember the joy. But I could not do that for my daughter when she had my granddaughter in Canada. So yes, if anybody knows what it feels like to have a family member, and a close family member, move that far away, please press my button. I can tell you all about it. But Harry is in his mid-30s, and it's time, my boy, to leave home. I think that the emotion stems from the fact that he does not have a plan. When my children landed in Canada, they had to jump right in with both feet. It was a matter of weeks, and they had to be back at work. My daughter had to basically unpack and go to work within weeks, as did my son-in-law. There was no time to ponder, to pout, basically not even time enough to miss family. I think the heartbreak and the sadness came when she actually had the little baby girl, not having her mom or grandmother or mother-in-law or anybody there as extra support. I think that was hard. But in the case of Harry, this was his choice. Nobody told him to leave. He made the choice. He gave up not only family and friends, he gave up a lifestyle, whereas my children carried on with the same lifestyle. Harry's lifestyle is changing completely. But instead of being this emotional wreck, why can't he be a man and see it as an adventure? After all, it was his choice. And personally, I am sick and tired of hearing about Harry's emotions. I'm not saying that he should hide his emotions 24/7, but to carry your emotions on your sleeve like this, to have it splattered all over every newspaper, it's just ridiculous. It makes him look like a wuss, like a spineless amoeba. And he should stop this, because I think around the world people are losing respect. Not only respect for Harry himself, but for his masculinity. I know there'd be a lot of you who will disagree with me on this. This is my opinion, and I personally cannot stand looking at Harry's sad sack face any longer. Okay, so let's move on to our darling Megsie. There were a few stories in the newspaper about Meghan attending the Met Gala with her friend Edward Enninful. And I'm not going to say much about this because it may just be a fluff piece, but I thought for your entertainment, I'll do a composite photograph of what I predict she'll be wearing to the Met Gala. Watch and enjoy. And then there was the story about Meghan desperately looking for a role in a superhero movie. Now, every time I read this heading, and as a matter of fact, I had to tape this segment of the video a couple of times because I can't keep myself from laughing. And once I start laughing, I can't stop. Anyway, so Meghan is looking for a role as a superhero in some superhero and supervillains movie. Now, I would love to know what Meghan sees when she looks at herself in the mirror. Because she surely is not ugly. But unfortunately for her, Meghan lacks the wow factor. And in the same vein, it's the wow factor, it's the looks, it's the body. It's it's a combination of looks and the body that actually gets you a role in a superhero movie. I think your acting talent is worth just slightly less when playing a role in an action hero movie than your looks. Now, I don't know whether anyone agrees with me, but I cannot see Meghan in an action hero movie in a tight bodysuit. Anyway, it seems that Dame Joan Collins agreed with me because she was asked what she thought of Meghan looking for a role in a superhero movie, and she just giggled and said, ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous. Now, Dame Joan, I fully agree with you. I think it's ridiculous. It's laughably ridiculous. But in any event, for your entertainment, I went through all the superheroes and supervillains, and I found one which I think is perfect for Meghan, namely Lady Deathstrike. Lady Deathstrike is the arch nemesis of Wolverine. Lady Deathstrike's only mission in life is to kill Wolverine, just like it appears as if Meghan Markle's only mission in life is to kill the royal family. Well, Meghan, for a couple of $1 million, I will fly over to Canada, visit my children, and then put you through your routine so you can obtain the figure to play Lady Deathstrike. People, I think I need to stop this ridiculousness right here. I'm not going to talk about Harry at Abbey Road with Bon Jovi in this video, but I'll just let you know that I do know about it, and maybe I'll address it in the next video. You have a good day and enjoy yourselves, and we'll speak again soon. Bye.
Please like, subscribe, and click the